welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper. I'm glad you're here. And today is Throwback Thursday. So we're going to talk about an author that I really like, and I haven't liked everything he's ever written as much, but one of his first novels remains one of my all-time favorites. So let's get started. So today's Throwback Thursday is about Wally Lamb. Now, Wally Lamb has written, I think, 6 novels and a couple of nonfiction pieces of work. But my first introduction to Wally Lamb was in a book called She's Come Undone. This is not the copy I originally had. This was actually after Oprah added this to her book club. But I was introduced to this book by a friend of mine who was working with me at the time, who could not put it down. And I had the same feeling. The character, Dolores, in this novel is so hard to look away from. It starts with her as a young person, a teenager, and she's really just challenged by her mom and her life and the things that have happened to her. And she starts to eat, and her mom supplies her with all the food that she could ever want. And suddenly she recognizes that she's obese and that she's lonely, and she has some other horrific things that happen to her as she's growing up. What struck me about this novel was that I couldn't believe that a man had written from the woman's perspective in such a caring and deeply, keenly aware way, that he really embodied her voice, and her character as a man really impressed me. And I just loved everything about this book. I know it's not everyone's favorite, and it's hard. It's not an easy story to read, but I loved it. So after that, and I don't have a copy of this one anymore, I read I Know This Much Is True, which was a story about twin brothers, and one of the twin brothers decides to take action and do something that is life-changing for the other twin. But this was a great perspective on their lives and on the ramifications of what his brother chose to do. Really liked it. Then I picked up The Hour I First Believed, and I do still have a copy of this. This came out it had to have been after, everything for me in terms of what I own and don't own is pre-Katrina or post-Katrina. So it had to have been after Katrina. I think it was around 07 or 08. And this came out after the shooting at Columbine. And it does follow a couple. They are both teachers at Columbine High School. And the husband, I think, is away caring for his mom or something. And his wife is involved in the shooting. And she is completely scarred from that trauma. And so it's a story of how they both recover. At the same time, he starts to find out more about his family. He starts to do research about his ancestors. And so there's a bit of another piece of this. But ultimately, what I remember the most about it was that he was always trying to sort of get her back to the person she was before the school shooting happened, which of course must be tremendously hard. Wishin' and Hopin' came out as a Christmas novel in 09, I think, and I do have that, but it's packed away with my Christmas things, and I do reread that every now and again at Christmas time, not every year. It's a novella, so it's very short, and it's a little bit like, I guess in the same vein, it's kind of along the same lines of David Sedaris's The Santaland Diaries, or Gene Shepard's A Christmas Story, which of course has been adapted into a movie. But Wishin' and Hopin' isn't my favorite. And then the last one that I read is We Are Water. And I didn't love We Are Water as much as I've loved some of his other novels. We Are Water is about a woman named Annie who leaves her husband for another woman, in the ramifications of her impending marriage to that woman. It's told from, as I recall, it's told from the perspectives of her and her husband, ex-husband, and the kids. And I think they're all coming together for the wedding. I just wasn't, I didn't I wasn't carried away by the characters as I typically am, and I just wasn't, it was slow for me, I remember, and I almost didn't finish it. It took quite a bit for me to stick with it and complete it. And I did not buy that one, so I was really kind of glad that I hadn't bought that one. And then I'll Take You There is his newest novel. It came out a couple of years ago, and I haven't read it. I think actually one of the characters from Wishin' and Hopin' is in that novel, and I've heard some mixed reviews about it too. But uh, all in all, I'm a big fan of Wally Lamb. I've heard him speak, and I like his ability to connect with people about the craft of writing. And of course, the first three novels of his that I've read are still in my favorite shelves. So I just thought about Wally Lamb the other day, and I think She's Come Undone would be a nice summer read. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you like Wally Lamb, let me know. If you've never read Wally Lamb, let me know if you decide to take a look. If I were to recommend any of them first, it would definitely be this one. Okay, thanks for joining me. I hope you'll give this video a thumbs up if you like it. As always, I appreciate your comments so much, and I hope you have a very, very happy reading day. Bye.